I don't know, is it on? Oh, there's a red light, but I think it's on. Right, yeah, okay. Oh, just get myself prepared. Oh. Focus. B. Right. That's it. Yeah. Right. Okay, hello. Hi. Hiya. Oh, I do. Firstly, right, before I get on with obviously the thing you've come to see, I must apologise for my appearance. It's middle-aged spread, call it that, I don't know, it's eating too many cakes and sweeties, but I have been piling on the pounds. Now I'm trying to keep it in, I'm not going to release it and show the full horror, but I am taking steps, so don't you worry, you won't have to look at this for much longer. Hopefully in a few weeks I will be buff and gorgeous, so you know, but this is the main issue in question. But anyway, I will be actually doing a new vlog. I believe that's a term, I looked it up. A video blog. They call them vlogs, I believe, on the world of the interweb. I do have another channel. It's got a couple of bits on, but I'm going to relaunch that channel, and I'm thinking of naming it Roger's Stuff and Nonsense. Not Stuff and Nonsense, Stuff and Nonsense. Now that's partly because I did have a hospital radio show of that name, and it's also, it comes from a sketch from French and Saunders. If any of you remember French and Saunders, well obviously most of you will if you're from the UK. Some of you American people might get French and Saunders. I know a lot of you Americans do know who Jennifer Saunders is, because of course she stars in Ab Fab. But anyway, they did a sketch with two very upper class women, very large ladies, and one of them was always getting into scrapes and maybe cutting a finger off, and the other one said, "Oh, you must go down to the hospital," and the other one said, "Oh no, stuff and nonsense," and then, you know, the finger would be hanging off, so she'd cut the rest of the finger off and go, "Dogs," and she'd feed it to the dogs, and then Dawn French's character would say, "Oh, that's not fair, what about Bluto, he hasn't had one," and then of course she cuts the other finger off. Anyway, that's enough of fingers. Actually, before I do this unboxing, I have a little thing to say. Now let's get me pad, because I'd forget the name if I didn't. Yes, here we are. Alright. Hang on a minute, is that Ryan? Hello, you're Ryan Edwards. I can see you. Your daddy says you like vacuum cleaners too. Well, I like vacuum cleaners, not much. I quite like vacuums. You like them, do you? Well, I hope your mummy and daddy have bought you a nice little vacuum for you to play with. Have they? If they haven't, you'll have to ask Santa Claus or Father Christmas for one for Christmas, won't you? It's not for a while yet, but you can get little toy-sized vacuums for you to play with. That's how it started with me, and look where I turned up. A sad, middle-aged, bald so-and-so, whiling away his summer days unboxing vacuums. But anyway, such is life. So hello Ryan, glad you like my videos. At least I've got one fan. Right, look at this. Now, I'm a sucker for a bargain, a sucker. This vacuum cleaner is a Bissell, American brand, and it has the lift-off technology, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Bissell were the first with the lift-off pod type thing. Now there's many brands have the lift-off suction unit. There's Shark, Morphy Richards, Vax. Was there any others? Not sure. And Bissell. But it's a very good idea to have a vacuum cleaner used like a normal upright, but at the touch of a button you can lift off the suction unit so you can take it up the stairs into the car. Yeah, the Sebo Felix does have a similar thing, but it's not quite the same. Sebo, if you're listening, that would be fantastic. Redo the Sebo Felix. Keep the original one because it's very good. Do a new variant of it with a proper lift-off pod that's more compact, that doesn't have the handle with it. Because you can lift off the thing on the Felix, but it's a bit clunky. Anyway, this was an absolute bargain. I think the normal retail price was about $269.99, and then they were on offer at various places like Argos for half that. And Bissell, amazingly, had this and the pet version about £200 off. Anyway, this one was £69.99, and the pet version, which is more or less the same but in blue with a pet hair turbo brush, that was £79.99. Now I thought I'll get the pet hair one, it's only £10 more. But by the time I decided to get one, they'd upped the price on the Bissell website to £279.99, just before the home shopping channel Ideal World had it on offer at £129.99. So I wonder if there's some connection. I know Bissell and Ideal World have, you know, a relationship. Well, not a physical one, a business one. So they probably did something, because Ideal World did quote Bissell direct website and said, look, they've got it for £269 or £279.99. Anyway, this was £69.99, and then I put Bis 10 into the promotion box, got 10% off, so it was £62.99 plus free delivery, and it said free next day delivery if specified. Well, it just said free standard delivery, so I ordered it yesterday, but it came today. So 63 quid, free next day delivery, and I've got a vacuum. What? £63. That is an absolute bargain. Well, it could be a bargain. We don't know what it's like yet. A 5-year guarantee too. Here it is then. Without any further ado, let's open this bad boy and see what we've got. Whew, it is rather moist today, I must say, but just have a swig of a drinky poos. And it is a coincidence, I have to say, it's a coincidence that the drink does match the top. It's a coincidence. It is actually a coincidence that my top will match the vacuum. Well, I think it might. Hang on a mo. Right, that's nice. So let's put that down. Because I chose this top. This was actually with a neighbour. I'd been out, you know, I do go out sometimes, and came back and there was a little card through my door, yodel, and it went next door. So before I saw this, I just changed into some shorts. I put my shorts, and I put my jeans back on for the video. You don't want to see my legs. Well, they're quite nice really, but it's not about legs, is it? And I just happened to put this burgundy t-shirt on, and that's the accent colour, I believe, of this Bissell. Anyway, it's made in China. Don't have to really say that, do I? Right, what's going to fall out first? Bit of Chinese dust on the extension wand, and inside, as if by magic, we have a crevice tool for getting in all your nasty little crevices there, look. And very short, stubby little tube there. I don't know if you get any more. We will soon find out. Put those to one side for now. And what's next? Not bad. A 2-in-1 nozzle, I believe this is. So, not too bad. Quite big. A nice sort of... Oh, it looks like an iron sole plate, really, that shape, doesn't it? So, you've got a little pointy end so you can get into your corners when you're doing your dusting. So that's your general dusting tool. And if you look under there, there's another set of brushes, so, as if by magic, out comes like an upholstery nozzle with, they feel slightly stiffer. That's quite good actually. I can see that being very good doing your stairs, because it's got a quite nice scrubbing action for bringing up the pile and releasing the dirt on your stairs. Be good for upholstery, and also good on your car mats, sort of thought, because it's quite a nice stiff brush. So a bit of rubbing will release the dirt, which hopefully will be sucked into the cleaner. So that's not, as 2-in-1 nozzles goes, that's not bad. What's next? Well, we've got the instruction book and an important message about your filters. With all bagless cleaners, you must maintain the filters, people. When they start cutting out and overheating and they're not picking up and you're wondering why, normally the first port of call is to clean your filters. Right, what's next? Another loose part. Some, don't really like the way they're loose in the top, but anyway, there's some sort of bracket. Must fit on somewhere. Again, Bissell have done away with cardboard inserts, which is good. Not cardboard, sorry, polystyrene. Cardboard's the good one, polystyrene's the bad one. So, right, remember what way that went way up. Remember what way that went up. That's what I was trying to say. What's next? quite a comfortable feeling handle. There's no sort of grip underneath. It feels fairly sturdy. It's a nice looped design. So that's your handle, and on the top of the handle we've got your little obligatory clip thing for keeping the flex out of the way of the base. What else is in here? Oh, right. Here's the hose. Looks quite short, but I'm sure it does stretch. Obviously this is not a stair cleaning hose, but it doesn't have to be, because the whole point of the lift-off cleaner is you can take the suction pod with you up the stairs, so it doesn't need to be long, but that seems quite good. And quite a nice little handle on there. Also got a suction regulator. Reduce suction by opening the vent, increase by closing it. And that's more or less fixed, that tube. So you can put the tools directly on to the end here, look. Or you can also use extension 1 for extra reach. Bissell cleaning tools are a bit odd because they vary in diameter. I was looking, thinking, I might get the turbo nozzle for this, but I don't know what diameter this is. It's not like a standard 32mm diameter. Some are 35, I think some are 34, so it all varies with these machines. So anyway, there's the hose, and there's the red. Doesn't really quite match, does it? I'm a little darker than that, but it coordinates well enough. Now, I think the last thing, can you see? Itching to come out, you're going to be famous. Oh, if you're in one piece, well, it's managed to get all the way from China to York, so hopefully it will survive being unboxed. Let me just pull out the flex, which seems to be a bit loose. Right, pop that there while I'm... Right, that's everything. So we'll move the box to one side. That is quite heavy. That is heavier than I was expecting, to be honest. I need to undo the bag because it'll suffocate in that bag. Come on. Some little Chinaman or China lady has tightened that knot. There we are. Oh yes, it is darker than it appears on... This is more metallic red. Actually no, it isn't bad actually against that. Yeah. I think I've done well with that colour coordination there. Right, hang on. Well, that is a smart looking vacuum cleaner. That is smart. Wow. It's a very smart looking machine. I do prefer the red actually to the blue. It doesn't have the turbo nozzle unfortunately, but I do prefer the red. Even the cyclone gubbins in there is that nice red colour. And of course even the brushes. Oh look, and the base. It seems very well put together. First impression. That's short but stiff brushes. A bit similar to Shark. Not quite the same, but a bit similar to the Shark / Morphy Richards brush roll. But again, as with many uprights, it does suffer from the loss of brushing action here, where this side will have the belt. Not sure what sort of belt it is. I don't know if it's a toothed belt or just one of the regular ones. So that is quite a big area where it will not be brushing. You get some suction at that area, but no brushing action. The other side fares a little better, but not, it doesn't really get that close. They don't even flare the brushes out like, the old Hoover Turbo Powers where the brushes at the end were longer and flared outwards. But judging by the reviews, I think where it will brush, it's going to clean quite well. A little bit dusty. So it's finished, like I say, in a nice metallic red and black and this metallic sort of, it's a darker grey than you'd get on some cleaners. I don't know what you call that colour, but yeah, looks okay. But like I say, it seems heavier than I thought it would be. And at the top here, look, we've got a lift-off button. Now it doesn't launch it into outer space, unfortunately. But when you do press that button, it releases, whoops, the pod, I believe this is called. This is the pod. So this is your suction unit. Suction motor will be tucked away under the bin. You've got two switches, one for the brush, quite nice solid feeling, and a power switch. So obviously when you're using the suction only pod, you just need the power switch. And when you're cleaning in upright mode, when you're cleaning carpets, you obviously need the brush switch activated, but when you're cleaning hard floors, you want the brush off. Now they're nice, they're nicely sized. Two cord hooks, one fixed at the bottom, the other one is the quick release type to release all the cord. And I believe that's where I need to attach the hose. And there is a filter somewhere under here, I think, but that isn't washable. I think I did read that correctly. It does need replacing from time to time. The other filter, which is possibly in the top of the bin, I'll have to check, is washable. Looks a fair size bin. Yes, all in all it seems fairly robust. Here's the separate unit now, devoid of the suction unit. And again, you know, it feels pretty solid for the price. I mean, I don't think it's worth the original price, but for $62.99, I mean, there's some handheld vacuums that cost as much as that, and some a lot more. So I will be doing a full review. I haven't finished this video yet. I will assemble it and give it a quick switch on. But first impressions of just opening it and looking at it, it seems pretty good. And if it turns out to perform even, you know, well, I don't know if it's going to be exceptional or if it performs well, for £63, as long as you use the Bissell, the BIS 10 code. And at the time of making this video, the BIS 10 code does work. It takes 10% off your purchase from Bissell Direct, and that's the UK website. That might change, but it's worth a try. I mean, I was cheeky. I tried BIS 20 and BIS 15 as well, but it wasn't having any of that. But it did let me have 10% off a vacuum that already had, supposedly, £200 off it. Right. Let's do the small bit of assembly and we'll just give it a quick going over and see what it's like before I do my full review. Okay, I've assembled the handle, which is the main bit of assembly you have to do. I did it before I videoed it, thinking I'd be able to take it off and show you again, but it doesn't seem to come out again. Once it's located, it doesn't seem to be able to be removed. So basically though, it's just a question of inserting the handle into the hole at the top, push it down until it clicks. You can adjust the handle height. Oh, that it is heavy, to be honest. That is quite heavy. Anyway, to adjust the handle height, we've got this button here, so you can press it. Now, again, this is difficult. I need an extra pair of hands, but I'll do that with my head. So you can collapse the handle down a little bit, like that. Now that is locked, so you can actually use it in that position with the handle at a lower position, or when you're storing it away you can pop it down. But to raise the handle, again you need to press that, and this, I don't know how I'm going to do this with one hand. There we go. Manage it. There's always a way around. There we are. That's the other setting. I'm not sure if that is it. So it's just a little bit higher. Let's just try again, see if it'll go any higher than that. No. So it's basically two, double check. Doesn't seem to. So it's just basically two settings. So that, I expect, will be the regular setting for most people. Now I've got to put this little bracket on. Now it only comes with this one bracket. Get it into shot, Roger. There are two places you can put it though. There's a little doodah there, so I don't know the correct term for that, and another doodah, whoops, there. Now that on the pet version would house the turbo brush, so I'm not going to put it there. I'm going to put it on the lower one. You can see there's a little cutout there, so it pushes down that way up, and it goes onto that doobry there. So that's it, and that will hold something or other in a minute. Right, here's the hose inlet. Let's pop the camera down. Excuse me, I'm going to have to go like that. There we are. That's the inlet for the stretch hose. So that looks like, let's blow the dust off. There are two lugs either side. There we go. Just see them there. There are two lugs either side, which correspond with the two cutouts here. So just line them up and twist. Try again. It's a little bit tricky, that one. It doesn't want to play ball, does it? Ah, there we are. Done it in the end, and we'll twist it. That's it, and that's in position now. So that's the hose on, and then it looks like, if I turn the machine round, the hose goes over the top. I'll show you, there's a little recess there, look. So the hose just goes over there, and then fits. It's very dusty, this vacuum cleaner. You expect that after a bit of use, but not straight from the factory. There's a hole at the bottom here, so this is where, let's turn that round, that is where we put the handle. So now we've got suction, which is going now to the base there when we've got it in upright mode. And I think finally we've got the crevice tool, which will fit nicely inside that little extension tube. Then that fits on. That's it, just holds in there. There is nowhere officially, by the looks of it, to put this. So, see, I can't put it unless... No, you see, that's odd, isn't it? I was hoping that I could pop this nozzle just on the end, but it's not going to fit there. And when I turned this round, it doesn't fit on there either, because the nozzle must fit inside there. So, unfortunately, there's nowhere to put that. Let me just pop the tube back on. That's a bit of a shame that there's nowhere to put that, because that's probably a nozzle you'd use quite a bit when you're using it in lift-off mode. But of course, when you are using it in lift-off mode, this other nozzle and tube stays on the machine, because we press the lift-off button, there we go, to carry the pod up your stairs or to your car, and your tube is left all sorry and alone attached to the base unit. So it's a shame really that there's no way of having a bit of storage for the tools actually on the pod, but never mind. It's a little oversight, I think. But that fits back in there until you hear it click. So press the lift off button to release, take it away, and then you just sort of locate it at the bottom at an angle, push it towards the back of the machine, and then it clicks in place. Here's a carry handle. But like I say, that is heavier than I thought it would be. Certainly heavier than the Morphy Richards / Shark lift-away machine. But there you have it. That's the Bissell lift-off. Right, before I finish this first look, we'll take the bin off and have a look at the filters. I've had a quick look at the instruction book while I've been setting up this shot, and it seems that the only filters are located in here. This may not have a HEPA filter, I'm not sure until I've opened it up. But let's take the bag unit off. There's a little button at the top, silver button that says empty, so I'll press that, and here comes the bagless unit. Like I say, it looks a quite a large capacity, and you've got a large grey button here which you press, and no, most of the time when you've got a new vacuum they never open first time, so I'll just have to give it a helping hand. Let's see if it opens the second time now. Yes, there we go, just needed a little help. So take that to your dirt bin, press that, all the dirt should fall out, but if it doesn't, you can actually take this inner cyclone off. There we go. So I'm not really sure if this is classed as multicyclonic. It's quite unusual in there. Normally a multicyclonic you'd see lots of different holes, but obviously a little different shape. Whether it still works as a multicyclonic machine with suction channels looking like that, I'm not sure, but that's what it looks like. So that completely removes if you need to give that a wipe. And then you can also wipe out your bin. Now it doesn't have the inner shroud. And there is nothing in the top, there is no filter in the top of this machine. That is it. So we can pop it back into the bin. It's just a push, and it's not even like a quarter turn, it's just a push and just a very small turn until it's locked in place, and we can close the bin. So that's the bin. It's a little bit unusual design. I wonder how that will work in practice, we'll have to see. So under the bin we've now got the filter. Right, so here it says lift tab for filters. Assume that is the tab. Oops, I wasn't expecting the whole thing to come off. So we've got this whole unit's come off like this, and here, is that a filter? Oh yes, push it from that way. There we have a little filter, sort of a sandwich effect. So black to the top by the looks of it, and this yellow goes to the bottom, so that's just the foamy filter. I don't know how effective they are at filtering compared to, you know, the pleated HEPA type. The advantage though of this type of filter are they are easy to clean. They're just like really a sponge that you might use in your bath. So you rinse that out, squeeze it, get as much moisture out as you can, leave that to dry naturally, and when it's dry pop it back in your machine. So they do tend to clean quite well, I find, that sort of filter, but you might have to clean them more often than some. That just fits back in the top there. So when you put it back in the cleaner you want to make sure that the black side, not sure if that's important, but this is how it was when I got it, so I'm assuming that's how it should be when you've washed that filter. And under here there's a little tab. Now this, I don't know if it's a charcoaly filter, but this, I thought this would have like a pleated HEPA type filter under here. Maybe some models do, but this doesn't seem to. The motor I can just see directly under there. You can just see the motor, and that seems fixed. So there's no other filter apart from the sponge one and this sort of felt material. Now I know this is very unprofessional, but I'm going to have to check the book, because sometimes this sort of material isn't washable, and that might be the filter that will require replacing. You can get extra life out of this type of filter if you can't wash it. If you have access to another vacuum cleaner, just use the suction nozzle on another vacuum to give it a good thorough clean. Do both sides and go slowly, and you'll give that a good clean. So that might help you, well, it might help prevent you having to buy one sooner than you need to if you keep that clean. But say there are means and ways of cleaning things without having to wash them. So it's got cleaning the inner cyclone. Well, there's another little, it's obviously important to maintain your filters, so that's why they've put this extra thing in. It's a Premotor foam and a Premotor fibre. So it says here, before using your vacuum, make sure that all 3 filters, 2 pre-motor and 1 post-motor, so they class the one I showed you as 2, but they seem to be in one piece. But perhaps they do come apart, but I'd class that as 1 filter, but Bissell say 2. And so they say clean the 2 pre-motor and 1 post-motor, make sure they're in place, blah 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 blah. Do not operate the vacuum without filters. To maximise cleaning and extend the life of your vacuum, it's important to check and clean your filters regularly, blah blah. Oh, tells you it's important, but then doesn't tell you what to do. You still have to refer to your user guide. So, you naughty Bissells. These aren't very good instructions, I have to admit. Bissell instructions, they could be better, I think. They could be better. Replacing, yes, cleaning, it says cleaning the pre, so you can clean the pre-motor, which are the foamy, and the post-motor, which is the black felty type. Well, they say to clean it by tapping the filter on the edge of a wastebasket. The post-motor filter is a pleated filter. Well, it doesn't look very pleated to me, but anyway, that's what Bissell say. It's not washable and must be replaced when dirty. So really, it's not really what I'd call a pleated filter, Bissell, but anyway, that's what Bissell say that is. So, not washable, tap it out, but like I say, if you've got another vacuum, a smaller handheld or any other vacuum hanging around, one you might use for your car or something, use that to give that a good clean, but Bissell say do not wash it. I'm sure you'll be able to get replacements for those direct from Bissell or other online spares sites. I don't know how much they cost, shouldn't cost much more than a few pounds. That goes in there. Doesn't matter which way because the tab for removing it is either side, so it doesn't matter. Just pop it in there after you've cleaned it, and then you can pull it out again when you need to. So, assuming we've rinsed these out and they're thoroughly dry, they're back in the filter cage there. Ah! Oh God, look, it's there, Roger! That's dear. It's this one. I thought there is another filter. I mean, it looks already thick with carbon dust there, but I think that's the colour of it. I'm hoping. This isn't a used machine. I think that could be specific. It could be an odor preventing carbon. I'm not sure. How could I have not seen that? That's the post motor filter that you can't wash. These two, yes. So I read it wrong. I am human. I'm sorry. That. It's the pleated one you can't wash, but again you can tap that out. You can use another vacuum to suck out any dirt that's accumulated on that. So you might be able to wash that one. So Bissell, I do apologise. Yes, cleaning the both pre-motor, right. It was because there was 2 colours in this, I thought, are they counting that as 2 and they come apart? No. This one, the 2-toned one, is a pre-motor filter, as is this. So both of these are washable in lukewarm water, mild detergent, rinse them, dry them. Look, obviously the pre-motor because the motor's after, and this is obviously the post-motor because it comes after the exhaust air. So suction is produced here, the exhaust air is blown out here, so the final air that exits the Bissell comes out of this pleated filter. So apologies, you can wash that filter and the foam spongy filter. This is the only one that Bissell say you can't wash in water. But that one, it's normally the top 2, the pre-motor ones, normally the ones that get dirtier quickly. Those are the ones you really need to check on a regular basis. This one normally stays fairly clean. Its main job, as long as most of the dust has been stopped from getting through the motor by the other filters, the main job for the HEPA is to filter out anything fine enough to get through the other 2, but it also helps stop any carbon dust from the motor. An electric motor in general has 2 carbon brushes either side of, I believe it's called a commutator, if I remember. So anyway, they're a wear part and they do wear about, and as the motor rotates at a fast speed, the carbon on these motor brushes does wear, and the dust from the brushes will exit the machine unless it is stopped by some sort of post-motor filter. But there we are, that's the technical bit. But anyway, whichever type of vacuum you've got, especially bagless, do check the filters. Don't expect you can just continue to clean, just emptying the bin and everything will be fine. Because when your vacuum starts overheating and cutting out and you're wondering why, the first port of call is your filters. But it's best not to let that happen anyway. You don't want your vacuum overheating. You want the air to be flowing freely through the machine to prolong the life of the motor. So bagless, even bagged not so much. If you've got a decent bag cleaner, the bag does act as a very good filter. So there's less maintenance on the whole with a bagged cleaner, but you have the cost of the bags. Just keep your filters clean, people. I can't stress that enough. That's the first thing to check. There we are, so that fits nicely in there. So fairly easy to clean these filters then. The foam and the felty type filter, they will just need cleaning. And of course from time to time clean out your bin. Bin just clicks back in. So that's it. That's the brief assembly and filter maintenance. You can actually replace the brushes in this. There is instructions, but you won't need to bother about that probably for quite some time, but you can replace the brushes, and I assume the belt as well. I'll go into further detail when I do my full review. But before I finish this one, I'll just switch it on, give it a quick back and forth motion, just judge its performance quickly. I can't give you a full summary, but I will judge it on my first impressions on the pickup, the noise level and how easy it is to push. So let's get this plugged in and we'll give it a go. Right, apologies for the bare feet. I didn't have any socks to match the vacuum, so I thought, well, it's hot, I'll go barefooted today. So here we have the flex wrapped round. So we'll release the whole flex by turning that hook. I don't think the cable's that long on this machine. Don't quote me, but I think it's 6 meters. So it's also got a nice little clip on the plug that holds the cable in place. Now hopefully when I plug it in it won't start to go. I have been fiddling with the power switches, so I'm not sure which was off and which was on, so it might just suddenly spring into life when I plug it in. Got a bit of a tangle here. No, come on, don't want you all tangled up. This is not a problem you get with a cordless cleaner, is it? As you'll see from my recent Vaxair cordless review. Very good machine. That's still loving the Vaxair cordless. Right. I thought that might happen. Right, so I've got the flex clipped up out the way. Put my bare foot. Well, I don't advise you vacuuming in bare feet unless it's a particular interest, because you never know, you might stub your toe on something and it's not pleasant. But I'm not going to be vacuuming everywhere, I'm just going to do a brief doodah. So there we are, it's released. And without turning it on, it's a bit clunky. It's a bit clunky. But when it's on it might move a bit easier. So we'll see if the brush comes on. It should. If the brush is in the on position, the brush will automatically come on because I've got it in the operating position. Right, it hasn't come on because the brush switch is obviously off. So I'll turn the brush switch on. So now when I switch the power switch on, we should get the suction unit motor and the power brush motor as well. Now, fairly noisy, but not not annoyingly noisy, and it certainly does bring the pile up. I will do a quick shot of the pile being groomed. And what I didn't notice, this might be a bit noisy when I switch it on, but actually this brush here, there's a little light in it. Let me show you when I switch on. So you should know when the brush is on because you can hear it and feel when the machine does help move along. So it's far easier to push when the machine's operating. So that's a nice little touch. And just judging by the tiny bit of carpet, it's probably mainly carpet fibres there, but there's quite a lot of dust as well in that bin. It seems pretty aggressive, but one thing I will point out, considering I've just done a tiny bit of carpet, I think the filter maintenance on this is going to be quite often, because already, can you see that circle of dust already on the filter? So I think this is a machine that will need regular filter maintenance. And holding this filter here, that is warm already. I don't like that. But anyway, as far as grooming the carpet goes, it seems to do a very good job. So I'll quickly finish this video off. I've gone on for far too long. Just do a shot of the machine grooming the carpet. A full review showing the machine in lift-off mode and upright mode will follow shortly. You might just be able to see a bit of where I've been. It does actually bring the pile up. This is a room that's got, the carpet in this is a little bit thicker than the other rooms, so it is good to show the grooming action. So I'll just do a little bit of an area and just to show you. So, like I say, it's quite a heavy machine, but when you're using it, it does glide around quite well. So maybe that's why Bissell called it the Powerglide lift-off. Speaking of lift-off, just before we end, I will lift off the container. Whoops. Unclip the flex from the base unit, pop that to one side. Just see how powerful it is. In fact, I've not found the rating plate yet, so I should really have a look at that. So I'll just judge the suction, make sure the suction regulator is in the maximum position. That's not bad. That's, you know, obviously it's not going to match like a suction cleaner, but for above floor, that seems more than adequate. Not too bad. Not too shabby that, but I am wary of the filter getting as dirty as it got with just a few passes over a carpet that's quite clean to start with. Although I'm saying clean, it has actually got, it's probably some from my last demonstration I did in this room, it has got some very fine dust as well as the carpet fibres. It's got up because of the aggressive brush. There does seem to be some dust and heavier particles at the bottom of that. So it might be okay, but you know, I'm not going to complain for £62.99 new pence, even if it means regular filter washing, which, like I said, it's no hardship with a foam filter. First impressions, it's quite good. I'm quite looking forward to giving this a full going over in my later review. That's it for now. Hope you've enjoyed it, Ryan. But there we go. That's the Bissell Powerglide Lift-Off Bagless Vacuum. If you like this video and want to subscribe, please do, and you'll be updated when I upload any new videos. See you later.